Okay, it's actually another day again, and well, that seemed to have has that worked. Um, the my experiment thing. So we basically did a small version of what I think the model does, or I suppose fin. There's the fin or the fin factor as well, which is probably a bit. That one's probably a bit different, but anyway, we did something. So I've been looking a little bit more into it, and it looks like that RD agent is written in R. So I might download R Studio or something like that to have a look at the actual code of fin factor to see exactly what it's looking for. Um, Also, I think it's looking for obviously the factors, in other words, sort of basically not instrumentation, what's it called? Indicators. In other words, like VWAP, moving averages, things like that. So um, a lot of factors for its model. So I think that's what it's looking for. That's why the data frames are coming up empty. And it may well be that I think there is a download on the RD Agent website or up on the repository or something that it actually has an example of those factors. So we might be able to use them as well. It's just, it doesn't say it in the documentation as a step. So that's what's confusing me. I suppose they assume that you're supposed to already know that maybe. Um, so I'll have a look into that as well. So, and by the way, Qlib I think is written in C, but it's written in C in such a way. I learned this from talking to AI this morning. It's written in C in such a way that it uses Coda, which is NVIDIA uh, software or whatever. So it uses that. And then the reason that RD agent, which is written in R, can use Qlib is because there's a wrapper for R or something like that. So that's how it's communicating with Qlib. Now, what I'm really trying to do, I suppose, is find out the pipeline of this fin factor command or whatever other command is finding out the pipeline of it, and also what it's looking for and how to obviously pre-process to prepare the data for it. I just figured like the example data kind of had all that, since it looked like the steps that it says in on the documentation just looks like, well, once you download it, you just do this. But obviously that doesn't seem to be the case here. But we did get something working, although it didn't seem to use RD agent, although it said that it was going to include RD agent. So RD agent has a workspace, but then I think also Qlib has workflows or something like that, right? So is there is some sort of there's pipelines going on here that we're going to have to figure out basically exactly what it's looking for. Um, I suppose to learn it as well to get it all running smoothly together. I think we do have both set up right and both working right. It's just I don't have the data prepared right for that particular example one, and so that's kind of the next step. Also, I saw another guy on YouTube introducing Qlib and stuff, so he might come up with some ideas on how all this is done as well. And all right, so let's see. I might download RStudio or something now and just have a look at exactly what it's looking for, and then maybe prepare the data, and I'll have a look at the repository and see if those factors are there, and then we'll try and implement them. So just to show you here, the things we have done, we have configured the .env, we have got our key in, that's all working, that's fine. This only has to do if you have Azure, which I think is kind of the Microsoft version or something. And it just basically goes straight into, okay, once you have all sorted, just run it. And obviously that's not exactly how it works. So you can run fin factor or fin model. Run the automated counter and iterative factors. This live demo is implemented by following each of the commands. Okay, so obviously it doesn't work exactly like that. This is one that's for medical, which we're not doing. This one says something about, I think, run the automated quantitative trading and factors extraction from the financial reports. Run Qlib factor extraction and implementation application based on financial reports. So maybe this means this is the factors extraction is probably what it needs before you run fin factor or fin model, possibly. Specifically, you need to prepare financial reports first. You can follow this. Fin factor report. So I guess we probably need to have all of this done before we actually do all this. In that case, they should have put that before that, no? In my mind, this seems like it's like residual information down here, but actually it's actually extremely important before you run here. So it should be actually under run and the first step, in my mind anyway. I think that's the way it is. So this, instead of this being a step under, it should be a step before all the other stuff by the looks of it. Then run automated model research and development copilot. Generally, you can run your own papers and reports. Specifically, you can do it like this, or the agent general model. We'll have a look at that in a second then. Kaggle as well, right? You can use Kaggle as well, which is great. We'll figure that one out later. And the UI still haven't, I don't think it does much, to be honest with you. It's just more like a log, I think. I don't know. Maybe it does. And the RD agent, the health check, it does work. It's fine. Our health check works. So that's good. Now there is more to download somewhere. Where is it? I think maybe it's in possibly here. Or maybe I saw there's like, isn't there zoo models or something like that I have to get to put in? All right, hold on. Let me find it. Yeah, here it is here. Under financial model agent. So it's rdagent.readthedocs.io. And under finance model agent here, we have this data set, which we have. Then the factors, 20 alpha 158. So I'm guessing we can download this instead of, I know we can create them ourselves as well, but I just want to try and follow the example as is first before we do all that. I mean, I'd rather try and do that. And then there's usage of models. So the end config pedantic setting here. And then you can set a start time and end time. I think this might be telling you how to get the factors, maybe. Not entirely sure. Usage of models, okay. You can decide how you're going to use the factors, maybe that's what that is, with different scenarios. So there's scenarios, there's workflows, then there's work, I think spaces is it as well. Then there's not only scenarios, there's hypotheses and different things. So it's quite like it's a pipeline of things that you kind of have to get familiar with by the look of it. I mean, this again is just telling us the easy parts to install it, which we've done all that, right? And again, it just says as if everything's set up for you, it just goes, okay, the next thing is just put that in, which is not. You have to obviously prepare all the data first. But it is telling us this alpha 158 is existing somewhere. There's no link for it. I guess it's probably in the repository. I'll go have a look for it. But I'm just trying to kind of clue things together. They don't make it easy to follow. Although the documentation does look comprehensive, it's not easy to follow. So again, this is all about Docker, and right, so I'm going to see if I can find that particular alpha 158 factors thing. Or it could be that's just an example and there's nothing there, that you just have to create the factors yourself. Let's see. Yeah, so within RD agent here on the thing, we have Qlib, RD agent, then scenarios, then Qlib, then, so here's factor experiment loader for use chat false error. Let's have a look at that one. So it's a JSON loader, PDF loader, and prompts YAML in that one. And then in experiment, we have factor experiment.py, a factor template, and a factor data template. So we have a readme here and a generate here. Okay, here is a short description about the data. Adjust daily price and volume data. Okay, so that one does one thing. Factor data template. Let's go to the readme, I guess. Well, that is the readme. Sorry. Factor template. Similar YAML, and a py. Model template. So there's no actual files. So I guess this is for creating them itself. Also, it's in scenarios Qlib experiment. So I guess we have to do this on the Qlib side first to pre-process the data for fin factor to work. I'm not exactly sure. Okay. So to get a little deeper, I think I'm going to download RStudio and have a look exactly what fin factor is trying to do. And then maybe one other way of really having a look at it is to break down fin factor to smaller levels and then do it piece by piece to see exactly what's going wrong where. But first of all, I need to know exactly what it's looking for so we can pre-process the data, which none of the documents seems to say, and I don't see any particular files. I may be missing it, but I don't see any particular factor files. Like I thought there would be, because it said here, this alpha 158. I do think that file is somewhere. I could just try and, I suppose, search it, couldn't I? Alpha 158. I don't see it. Alpha 1. Oh. What way does it say it in the Alpha 158? Nothing coming up. The files. Alpha. It could be just some random thing it named. Okay, so I don't see it in this documentation anyway. Unless it's in Qlib. I could have a look there. All right, I'm going to download RStudio, have a look at it more in depth, and see if we can get the example ones or the experiment ones or the test ones working exactly as they should, so we have a good idea of what we're doing before we do it all on our own code and our own data. So there doesn't seem to be any predefined ones in the repository. I'm just looking here in this particular one where it says finance data agent. It looks like after its own hypothesis generation, it does its own factor creation. So it creates the factors. that it's looking for. So I don't have to pre-process the data then. In this scenario, our agent illustrates iterative process of hypothesis generation, knowledge decision. It highlights, so step 1, hypothesis generation. Generate and propose initial hypothesis based on previous experiment analysis and domain expertise. Step 2, factor creation. Based on the hypothesis, divide the tasks. Each task involves developing, defining, and implementing a new financial factor, including its name, description, formulation, and variables. Then it implements them and backtests them in Qlib. Conduct backtesting using the Alpha 158 Plus newly developed factors. I don't know. So we've got them set up, we got them working. The thing is, okay, we have our studio now. Maybe upload crash reports, yes. Okay, this is our studio. It's checking out a lot of my stuff already. Okay. So how do I got to download. By the way, you need to download R as well to have our studio working, which I just did as well. So I guess we got to download the repository again to be able to look inside it. Let me figure out the best way to do that and then we'll have a look at it. All right, so you have to install git to R in packages here. If you probably don't need to, nobody needs to really go look at the code in R. So, but anyway, just in case you do, I probably shouldn't be going this far either. I'm way in over my head here. But anyway, if you want to, that's the first thing you need to do. Get git to R here, and then somehow put it over here, and then clone the RD agent. It's GitHub Microsoft RD agent.git. So we're done there. I guess I might have to also, I guess it's probably not pip install here. I don't know what it's called here. All right. So although it's written in R, apparently, well, maybe it's not because all this looks very, well, maybe AI was telling me the wrong things because this doesn't look like R to me. Maybe it was talking about a different RD agent. So this looks like Python, right? Anyway, it's if you go to CLI, so RD agent app CLI.py, and if you go down here to the definition fire.fire, this is where it seems to be calling it, right? And apparently that's calling it from Qlib RD loop factor.py. So, or that's what it, inspect the logic of fin factor and locate the main function, analyze search for related functions. The main function in factor.py might call other modules or functions for computations. I'm just trying to find out where it's coming from. Okay, according to ChatGPT, FactorPy script follows a workflow for factor-related research and development using the RD loop class. Here's a detailed breakdown of how it handles the fin factor CLI command. Factor.py, factor RD loop class, subclass of RD loop, handles the factor extraction and evaluation process. Overrides the running method. Run factor development via self-funded develop. Log and validate results. The main function, entry point for the fin factor command, handles two states. Start a new session factor or loop, resume existing sections, factor or loop, load to load the session from a specified path, runs the loop from model loop run, and CLI binding the fire main call binds the main function to the CLI, making it accessible via RD agent fin factor. How to workflow. So the factor RD loop class default settings, factor prop setting, or a load session. The run method RD loop orchestrates the factor RD workflow, calls overridden running method handles. So sometimes you might need it to force something that, because if it's calling one that's already kind of cached, that's going to be an issue, right? It should let us know whether it's doing one or the other for a start. Orchestrates the factor RD workflow, calls overridden running method handles session. The runner develop previous method performs actual factor extraction development. If extraction fails, factor empty error is raised. Defined RD agent in the Qlib conf apply likely contains configuration details for the factor development process. RD loop class defined components. RD loop apply provides base implementation for run workflows. Runner developed the key function responsible for factor extraction. Defined factor RD loop runner object is initialized based on factor prop settings. Debugging steps. Inspect factor prop setting, locate RD, and examine factor prop setting configuration. Enable debugging. Run with debug. Debug path, session path, step N1. Well, we might try that one then. I don't know. It doesn't do anything, does it? Do I have to put something in here? Session path. Trying it without session path, but I don't see anything particularly. Oh, there it did. It stopped at step 1. Okay, that makes it a little easier to try and figure things out. Type in -- step N or step 1 or whatever, so it doesn't have to go through the whole thing. Saves you cancelling it. All right, so let's have a look at this then. Okay, so it appears step 1 is fine, right? It says here it's running just fine. Now maybe go for step 2. All right. Step 2. So step 1, hypothesis. Looking for the VWAP. This is step 2. Okay, so step 2 is also successful. It creates a price momentum oscillator. Okay, that's fine. Now saved in a log. Now we go for step 3. Introduce a VWAP again, I guess. I thought that was the first step. Oh, is it doing the 3 steps now? Rather than, so if you say step 2, it's doing 2 steps, and if you say step 3, it's doing 3 steps. I think that's what's going on rather than doing it piece by piece. Maybe. Or is it just longer, step 3? So step 3, definitely an issue, is the VWAP momentum. Seems to be an issue. Let's see what the response is on this. What gives you how it's calculated? Formulation, variables. This factor is well grounded in financial analysis. Logging successful. Step 3, advance the workflow further. No errors detected. Yes, there was. I don't know if it's reading it correctly. Or maybe I didn't give it the right output. Hold on. Okay, we just tried a couple of things over on Qlib just to test the H5, the result H5, and the daily PV H5, which we created, and then did all this in the terminal. It all seems to be fine, right? But still getting errors on step 3 here on the agent side. All right, we're still getting issues there. So one of the things we can do here is look for data paths. So get child item, cd or agent, recurse file, select string pattern, data path. So I don't know what exactly this is going to help with, but we'll give it a go. All right, so this is trying to find out basically if it's getting a cached version over another one. So maybe we can add a debug print statement to confirm the data path that it's using at runtime. For example, modify a key script. Or maybe just clear cached data. We'll do those 3 things, I think. Right. Well, to see the data path, you have to modify the dot. And you just clear the cache data, I think is the best. That didn't seem to work, did it? Oh, maybe I have to do it on the Qlib side. Oh no, it's just the wrong command. Here we go. For PowerShell, it's that. So if that removed the cache data, will it then do step 3 okay? Worth a shot. I can still see the output data frame is empty on some of these, and also it's saying it doesn't like how the VWAP is calculated for some reason. All right. So then that means, I don't know what that means. This time we loaded a specific general model, or the agent general model, and then loaded this paper. And we'll see if this one works, I guess. Maybe get something working, might be at least give us a boost in morale, if nothing else. Apart from the health check works, but I guess I'm not understanding completely the pipeline or whatever it's called. It seems to be downloading the thing. Okay, it's downloading specific data from Yahoo too. Okay. Interesting. Oh, does seem to be downloading data. Did all that on its own from just a prompt from a PDF or something. So that's super interesting. Plus, if it can follow like technical reports on PDFs, that's pretty incredible. If that's what it's doing, I think that's what it's doing. It runs a general model from an example paper. Well, that is the example paper that I gave it, yeah. Okay, so different papers might be. So it must be using like natural language processing as well, then maybe. That's why I really want to get into this workflow with RD Agent and Qlib and understand it right, because I think it could be very helpful, knowing how this works. The idea is that it finds you the best iterations and optimizations, and then probably the best machine learning model to have it on as well if you want to use that. And I suppose then different data sources as well. And this could be a good sign if it's downloading the data and then processing the data and then, implementing its own factors and everything, doing it from scratch by itself. Then I don't see a need for me to be pre-processing any data here. Then if it's starting off like this, it's a good sign. Plus it's the example paper, so it should probably know it pretty well, I guess. Trained on it or something. So I'm hoping there's no errors with it. I can't see this working with just any paper, although that's pretty amazing though, just so far, just doing that. I know the whole AI thing is amazing anyway, and I have used sort of agents stuff before, but I think I use zero agent, I think it's called. So it's not entirely new to me, but still, that's pretty impressive. Getting a lot more data by the looks of it. Okay, I'll just let that run and let you know how it goes. Okay, so it used the general model on that specific example paper from ARXIV, whatever that is, and created a workspace in Qlib, I guess. Then tried to implement some models in the following scenario. Background scenario: flexible comprehensive frameworks designed to integrate factor-based model base. Name the model description, architecture, machine learning, deep or graph-based model. Okay, so it went on to do that. It had a critic. So I guess the way these models run, it has critics. So it has critic 1, message to critic 2. So it's almost having like different AIs. It has different critics. Suggestion should not include any code. It's just telling you how the critics work, I think. So trying to implement a model in the following scenario. Dealing with a series model. Deep Graph Network, ADGN. Logging objects. Evolving. Final decisions. The final decision up here was true. The execution was successful. It says up here. It has been successful. The execution was successful. The model is considered to be implemented correctly. So, I don't see any fancy graphs or anything. Model execution feedback. Execution successful. Output tensor shape 8, 1. Shape output is correct. All right, I guess that was successful. I'm just going to pop that into AI because I'm not entirely sure. All right. It was successful anyway. I didn't see anything happen on my Qlib end of things, but I guess it doesn't need to show, but I wouldn't mind seeing some visual output or something. Oh, maybe that it was learning a model. I think it just learned a model. So it's not actually... Why did it need all that data then? I guess it needs to do the testing, if needed, to test the model. Next step, testing. If needed, test the model with real or simulated data. Is that not what all that data was? What was all that data for then? Integration. Integrate the model to your broader pipeline. So you can put that in the pipeline as well. Stick that in your pipeline and smoke it. I don't know. Like, I really want to find out what that pipeline or the fin or the whatever the factor thing is, because it's really not working anyway, not the whole way. Okay, so I think we just got it to learn a model, which was the deep graph network, an anti-symmetric deep graph network, an ADGN. I think that's what just happened there. And what all this was, what was all this? Local target region CN. Oh, it just downloaded the data again that we already have. Why did it do that? Delete old, false. So it just got that same data. Yeah, well, fine. All right, so that, I don't know. That was interesting. Something worked anyway, by the looks of it. Okay, interesting when you go into blame and you can follow how they changed the CLI file, the CLI py.file. And so that's what it used to say: Python rd agent app qlib rd loop factor wsc.py. And they just changed it to fin factor. So I wonder, is that still in Qlib rd loop? So this is how the code evolved over time. So it's factor.py that it's really calling from in Qlib rd loop. So that's really the one that we should be looking for, I guess. And model.py maybe. Okay, and okay, so qd rd loop and then factor.py and model.py. So these are the ones. There's not a lot in that though, is there? Factor prop setting. Where's that calling that from? Let me try the blame thing again. Who can we blame this on? Winston. I'm trying to get these guys on WeChat, but no success there yet. Okay, I just selected another PDF I happen to have hanging around. It was a white paper that I had on a PDF actually about like transformers or something, that artificial intelligence. It wouldn't take my local one, but somehow I found the PDF of it on arvix.org, and once I punched that in, yeah, it's gone ahead and doing that. It's like it's training itself on a transformer model now from another white paper or whatever they're called, academic paper there. So however I'm going to use that or something, I'm not totally sure. Is it going to go on ahead and download all that data again? I don't know. Oh, it has an error message. Embed in number of features per batch. Must be divisible. Yeah, I figured. Wouldn't work on all of them. The implementation is incorrect due to an error in the model's architecture setup. Maybe you can't do transformers stuff on this one. I don't know. It's trying though. So this is at the same time we're trying to figure out what RD agent can do, along with trying to get it to work with Qlib or whatever. There's not much more information out there on RD agent until there's a lot of fails on this one. Unless we go in depth on the code or something, but it's not easy to figure out. Okay, so that one didn't work for whatever reason. The reason being it contains critical errors related to tensor dimension handling, specifically in the convolutional layer operations. The error trace indicates a mismatch between the expected number of channels for the convolution operation and the actual input tensor's channel count. Okay, whatever. All that means. Well, that one doesn't work. Okay. Wait a second. There's the data sets in the Qlib. So there's two data sets, Alpha 360 and Alpha 158. Maybe this is the things that we needed all along. Now, at high frequency data sets, it just brings me to this page here, examples high frequency, and then you get get data here. But that's that link for high frequency, so it must be granular, smaller. But when I click on this link, it just brings me to contrib data handler.py. What's that all about? Was that link something else before? What's changed in here? How is this supposed to be getting the data? Alpha 360 DL get feature. So it's supposed to download it itself? Is that what it's doing? In handler.py? So what if I run handler.py then? Will that go get the data? All right, we're trying to get the Alpha 360 and Alpha 158 here. So I just initialized the data or whatever. And then let's see if it works. No errors. Even more errors this time. Dear oh dear. All right, so we're trying to load the handler for the whatever it's called, the Alpha 360 handler here. And we got all this. So You had multiple errors before that as well, but this is an output that I haven't got yet. So let's try and sort that one out. Okay, this is new. We did import Qlib, and then we did another thing up here, which was, oh, where's it gone? We've gone too far. Hold on. Anyway, the thing is, we're getting some output down here, even though there's seems to be errors or something. Again, we're just trying to get whatever that Alpha 360 stuff is. But you know, I'm pretty sure I actually had this downloaded before by accident. I think there's a very simple way of doing this, and I actually did it before one time by accident. What did I just do? Did I just copy paste the same thing over and over again? I think I did. I think you can get rid of that one. Okay, so apparently that output confirms that the Alpha 360 data handler has successfully processed and returned the dataset. The dataset contains features such as close 59, volume 0, and other lagged variables, different timeframes indexed by date, time, and instrument. Inspected data if we need to. Okay. Close 59, 57, 56, 55, I don't know, okay. So I can export it to CSV as well if we want to. Okay, why not? Sounds good. And what was the other one? 360, and there's another data thing, wasn't there? By the way, it also said to check about the file system here on the white paper as well, which is, I don't know, I had a quick look at it, but what do they call it? They call it white papers, or is that just for crypto? I don't know. Or just a paper. Now, we're still looking for the other one. I guess we got that one, but we want the other one, right? So it told us to go here. For whatever reason, it told us to go here to the handler.py. And so we have the Alpha 360, that's the one we got. And isn't there another one? What was the other one called? There's definitely another one. Oh yeah, there it is at the end. The Alpha 158 as well, which is the VWAP one, right? So, and there's 158DL as well, so I don't know if that's any different. Maybe there's a couple of different 158s. Okay, let's see if we can get that one. The Alpha 8. I guess, is it going to be much the same as the other one? Like, can I just put that in, but this time just change the letters or the numbers? Hopefully we don't have to go through the whole thing again. Will this work? And then will that well, then I wonder, well, when we have both of them, will the other thing work then that we've been trying to get work all along with fin factor? They have to do this in documentations, don't they? Just leave a huge part out. By the way, you need these two things to actually get that thing working. I'm just going to run it the exact same code here. Oh, wait, I shouldn't have done that. I think I need to cancel that actually because, okay. Got to actually stop this kernel now. Hold on, interrupt the kernel and restart the kernel, because I just noticed if I do that directly, we've got to give it a different data key and everything. I hope I didn't mess that up now. Okay, hold on. Okay, so that looked like it worked then as well. Successful, and KMID, whatever all that is. Okay, the Alpha 158DL is a specific data loader, so you don't have to worry about that one, I think. Let me just process this. So the Alpha 158 is a high level class that integrates multiple components, including the Alpha 158DL for data handling and processing. Okay, if you're satisfied with the default setup provided by it, there is no need to work directly with the DL. Just use Alpha 158. Okay. Okay, I just tried to run step 3 again, and no, still doesn't do it, unless maybe I need to, delete the cache thing again or something. That doesn't seem to be what it needs then. I don't know where it's looking for the information for FinFactor then, if we're supposed to have everything we need. Maybe we don't have it saved in the right place, possibly. Might as well try and get the high frequency data as well, which is in Qlib. Examples are in this one. It's .qlib because we're in the Docker. .qlib examples high frequency, which actually comes out at cd rd agent git ignore folder rd agent. My experience. I don't know why it comes out there, but anyway, you go to high frequency and then you put in the get data one. Then I think we need to reinitialize the. Anyway, we can dump and load that data set, and then we'll have the high frequency trading data as well. Which I think is just minute data, probably. It's probably just the minute data, which we may or may not already have. I've definitely downloaded it before, but. Okay, it looks like we got step 3 completed now in the FinFactor. So, yeah, it appears that the volume price trend factor has been successfully executed with the RD agent framework. The following indicators confirm the success. So basically what we had to do was, it looked like there wasn't enough rows or something. So we had to change the look back period within, I think, I don't know, within the H5 or within something. And we had to check a whole lot of other stuff, to be honest with you. Like you have to have these little dollar signs before these, which were already there. So I don't know why I had a problem with that. But anyway, it looks like step 3 is working. So I guess there might be a step 4 now, or how many steps is there in this thing? Yeah, if there's a step 4, I guess there's going to be more errors. It'd be nice to run the whole FinFactor thing right to the end. I guess we're getting some idea of what it is. What step 4 might involve is testing the VPT, which is the volume price trend, in models such as the Light GBM, Cat Boost, sorry you can't see that, Cat Boost or LSTM, and portfolio backtesting using the model predictions. So yeah, let's just try running. Step 4 then. Oh, I didn't do, well, we did do step 1 and 2 earlier, but I don't know if it needs them right now because I deleted the cache. So we may have to do step 1, 2. You better do step 1 and 2 first because, whoops, too late, I think. Yeah, too late. Well, let's see if this works then.